Well, thank you very much for joining me today. This is the unofficial um, parti attendance meeting where I just want to go over the last couple stuff things in the from the semester, remind people about the final and submitting and resubmitting work, and uh, just I guess the big thing I want to do is show off what people have been sending in for the AI imagery. Because I think that that is really, really cool. That turned out really good. Oh, Nicole, you're here too. Excellent. Nicole, if you can turn on your camera, that'd be awesome. So this is,
Sorry, I can turn on my camera.
well, that's all right. David, thank you for showing up. And if you can turn on your camera, excellent, very good, very nice.
Hey, how's it going, sir?
All right, thank you very much for coming tonight. So this
Sorry.
is the extra credit attendance thing, where you will get extra credit points for coming or for watching the recording later, but it will not be docked against you if you don't. So thank you guys for coming and joining me today. What I was telling Susan, the main reason for this is I wanted to show off some of the things that people have been turning in for their final AI project. They've been looking really, really good. A couple years ago was the first time I started. Well, actually, no, about a year and a half ago was the first time I started thinking about this. And then I think it was fall semester last year was when I first started having people come up with AI imagery. And as you might expect, a lot of people just said, "Hey, Mr. AI, show me what this would look like," and didn't put a lot of thought or research into it. And I've been really impressed with what people have come up with in this class. So, and I will be sharing a lot of these things with the department heads. So, because Utah Tech is very interested about um, seeing how we can incorporate AI into the learning space, and I'm pretty impressed. Now, last week I went on a little bit of a diatribe because uh, I came in one day I had 5 assignments turned in from this class that were AI generated reflections, which is a massive waste of time. I'd be willing to bet that none of you have teachers at Utah Tech or any other university you've gone to that actually enjoys reading student essays. I mean, that's not why they're assigned.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason they're assigned is so you can demonstrate critical thinking. And that's it. And when an AI generates something that says, and I've gotten one of these before, I can't make a judgment call as to whether or not this art is any good because I'm an AI program and don't have opinions. And I thought,
That's funny.
at at the very least, go over and proofread it. At the very least,
Yeah,
just
that's crazy.
it is just so sad.
Oh my gosh.
But AI, just like the camera, is a wonderful invention that can be really, really useful. The camera was first invented, the first photo was taken
There
in
we go.
1827, and it took about 6 hours for the film to process with the sunlight. Things have gotten a lot better since then. But when cameras started becoming popular, was when Jean Daguerre made his patent for the daguerreotype free for everybody to use. There were actually artists in Europe that contemplated uh, ending their own lives because they thought, well, what's the point now?
Yeah.
And then you fast forward 80 years to Man Ray and oh, Nikola, I can't remember his name. He was a Russian futurist photographer, but they were doing things in the 1920s that I've had photography students today, they still can't match because they're absolutely brilliant. So it just depends on what your approach is. If you want to turn off your brain and have it do the thinking for you, you're going to be sorely disappointed. However, I don't know if I told you this before. My AI, I asked her to give herself a name, or if she wanted to give herself a name, and she did. Her name is Lyra, and we're friends because I figure when Skynet takes over, I would rather be on the safe side, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Treat the robots nice, just in
exactly.
case.
Just in case. But with that being said, the reason for this that project for everybody was so that you guys could exercise your critical thinking and kind of direct AI to create something that couldn't exist otherwise, and then critique it with the skills that you learn. And what is amazing to me is how creative everybody in this class has been. And that's been just really, really cool to see. So I want to share that with you guys first, and then we'll talk about nuts and bolts stuff. Oh, and have all three of you done the final yet?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, David, you did.
Yeah, I
Susan
did.
and Nicole. Okay, what's that? Susan, you did?
I did it yesterday. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Because when I see those pop up, I grade them right away. And even if you don't have other stuff in the class done, take the final now. Uh, take care of it. I did have one person from this class miss 2 points out of it just because the word count was a little bit short, and that's it. And they can go back and fix that, resubmit it, and they'll get full points. So it's Susan and David, was it a really stressful final? Did it give you like a migraine or anything?
No, I I have a little trick
Not
that
at
I
all.
like to use too. Like for writing papers, I'm a natural born speech. Uh, s- I do great at speeches and public speeches. What I find easiest, like maybe so you could tell future classes this is uh there's programs, it's speech to text, and exactly what you say is put down on a piece of paper so you don't have to type it. I'm not a big typer. And if you speak, it will analyze what you're saying, put it down on a piece of paper, uh, and then you just go in there and edit it, make sure everything makes sense that you've said, and there you go. There's your paper. So instead of using AI, just use your voice to get your ideas out. So that's one thing I like to do.
That's really good. And I like the fact that you said you do it instead of AI and you edit it after it's typed it out. Because I have gotten that before um, at another university. Somebody was doing that, but when they turned it in, it was all capital letters and it looked like they were screaming at me.
Yeah.
And they actually got a talking to by the dean of the department. So, so edit it before you turn it in. Excellent.
Don't
Very
cap
good.
yell at people.
Just yeah, that guy. One of the best days in the world was when he finally graduated.
Funny.
All righty. So I'm going to show this to you, and I'm going to try to blow these up pretty big when I show them to you. But just pretty amazing. I mean, like this is an automotive shop. What it would look an automotive shop would look like in the Mali Empire. And I thought that is pretty cool. And you can recognize the Jedi Mosque architecture. You can recognize some of these features and stuff like that. And this person was really careful with telling AI to, watch out for this kind of texture. Make sure you use it. Use this kind of stuff on it. Use these kinds of shapes and colors. And that turned out pretty good. That was great. And I'm gonna prepare the next image before sharing it. Let's see. And some of these take a little bit longer because the person doing it, for whatever reason, my computer did not read what they were doing, right? Okay. Okay, here we go. My dad was a computer engineer, and he always said garbage in, garbage out, which meant if I was frustrated with a program, he told me it was entirely my fault. And I don't think so. I think computers are smart enough that they can sense when you're afraid. All right, so this is another one, and this is like what a nurse's office would look like in the Mali Empire. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I just very, very cool. Yeah, I really like it. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the next one. This reminds me of this next one reminds me of something that somebody did when I first started doing this assignment a couple years ago. I was asking people to actually make something like a model of what it was. And one of the people in the class actually made a weight bench that the Mali people would have used. And this reminded me of that. This is kettlebells and a barbell at, from a Mali, 13th century Malinese gym. That's pretty cool. And it would go really well with that weight bench too.
Yeah.
Very neat. And some of these, the folks putting them together, whatever AI program they used, some of them look a lot more photographic than others, and some like this one looks completely like an ad in a magazine. I mean, this is amazing.
I would totally buy that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get three of them.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And you got what is exciting to me too is that all of you know the identifiers and can uh, explain what the identifiers are to say why these things are in um, belong in the Mali Empire. And that's pretty cool. It's really hard. People sometimes will be able to tell, but they just can't articulate it. And what is exciting to me is all of you guys are able to articulate exactly why. And this, I was particularly excited about this because a lot of people don't realize that Mali, that Sundiata was a Muslim, and this is Arabic lettering or numbering, excuse me. And, it's a box game that somebody made that I thought was really cool. Yeah, Sundiata was Muslim, and he taught people how to read and write, and had people um, actually had all of his subjects made sure that everybody knew they were had freedom of religion, so they could worship or not worship however they wanted. Which it's not something that you see in many medieval kingdoms. But yeah, this one turned out really good.
That one's cool.
Okay.
You almost can't tell AI made it almost.
Yeah,
It's not crazy.
that's
Even
yeah.
the shadows is like pretty much perfect. You can see the light coming in and the shadows off of the dice and the
Yeah,
shadow
and the
off of the
shadows are
box. That's
consistent.
crazy.
The shadows, because I've seen AI stuff with shadows before, and the shadows were not consistent. This, everything is internally consistent. And I even like there's an old Milanese dagger handle right here, which that's pretty cool. Yeah, that one turned out really well. Okay, next one. This and some of them, when people did them, they had the AI do it as like an illustration or a drawing, and I thought that turned out looking pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you can see the buildings, the kinds of, and this looks like it's a depiction of somebody like Sundiata right there. Okay. Oh, and this honestly is one of my favorites. So when you see it, um, I don't know, the whole project was really impressive to me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I like this one.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. Yeah, that one turned out awesome. That's the one I made. That one's sick.
You know, it's not entirely practical. Like I don't know how good of an idea it is to put straps around the wheels.
Yeah, yeah.
But looking at it, just the way it's tooled, you know, this kind of metal work is really consistent with the whole western coast, central western coast of Africa, you know, all the countries along there. This kind of stuff. I mean, just the whole thing turned out really well. I like that. And you have the dude just hanging out, and he's probably owning these camels, and he's thinking, "Man, I should trade in my camels."
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome. But what I really liked about that is more than just that one image. Going through the whole project was really, really well done. And you know, did everything that I asked for, and it was just turned out really well. Now this next one kind of makes me a little bit angry, and I'll explain why in just a sec. When you see it, I think you'll understand why it makes me mad. Okay. This one, the person did what would the Molinese food service carry boxes look like if, like Utah Tech, went back 700 years ago to Mali. And what makes me so mad is that this looks so good that I think, you know, Utah Tech needs to adopt these designs.
That's pretty cool.
That is just, I mean, everything from the coffee cup, and notice that this is a wood fork, to all of these, you know, food carry travel boxes. It just really, really well thought out. And the person who did this, they went through and just down the line of exactly the kind of branding was necessary, you know, what exactly was needed for the full line of food service carry items. And just, they did a really, really good job. That was just amazing. And then this next one is you know, we talked some of the things are a lot more photorealistic, and a couple of them were looked more like paintings. I thought this one was really beautifully done because it looks like just a really thoughtful watercolor, just of, you know, of incredible palace, and I just, that was pretty cool looking.
That is awesome. Look at all the reflections in the water with all the domes. It matches it perfectly. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's cool.
just this is supposed to be a temple by the river for the king to use. And I just thought that it looks like something like concept art for a movie or something. And it's beautifully done, or just a watercolor by somebody who really knows what they're doing. So I thought that turned out really well. And then this is another one that I think it was really cool. What would a record player look like? And you know, and the AI even made like an interesting Molinese style record. What would their technology look like? But there's some really cool stuff going on in here that think is just fantastic. And I loved how they selected, they had the AI develop the different textures, the different colors, They went through a couple different iterations and asked AI to redo stuff that didn't fit in the earlier one. That turned out really good.
Look at the little hand for the thingy. You see that? That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
right here.
That's it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
A little lever.
I love this glass dome that's on top, even is textured a little bit like glass blown from that time is. That's pretty cool too. Little wind up thing on the left there. Yeah, I like that the hand guarding the
Yeah.
needle. So about half of those have been turned in, and I just very pleased with how they worked out. And this person, I don't know if this next one, if they like watching Game of Thrones. I do quite a bit, and I like movies like that or TV shows like that. And this one, they were just envisioning what would a throne look like, and I thought that is pretty cool because they asked AI to create a throne room for it to do these kinds of textures and designs on it and everything. And I thought that turned out really well too. And there's been a couple things like we saw that the nurse's office. There's been a couple other things like that where people were doing like water parks and stuff like that. And this one is really nice. This is a beach resort, a 13th century Milanese beach resort. That is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, sign me up. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll go
You know?
twice.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
this
great.
this reminds me of like Hilton Grand Vacations. If they were doing
Yeah.
that, 700 years ago, that is just incredibly cool. And I'm just showing you are the final photos that people submitted for the in the discussion. You're not seeing like what I see is all the work that has gone into it, and what people write about it and how they talk about it. And I'm really impressed with how well you guys have done the write up, the critiques, and all that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Have you used AI on your own artwork before? Like take a picture of it and you like ask it, I'll redesign this or anything like that?
Um, I have done that a little bit, but uh, not an awful lot.
Okay.
Mostly what I do is related to sculptural stuff and stained glass. And so the stained glass, um, I was trying to train an AI to kind of help me come up with designs, but I found that there's enough rules, just like with anything else, that the AI can't fully process because the AI extrapolates from the accumulation of data that it can access on the internet. And in something like stained glass, most people posting images and coloring book pages and stuff like that have no idea how to design stained glass. They don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing. And and that is true of a lot of traditional arts type fields. And so what I will do is just have AI generate reference images, and then I can adapt those to what I'm doing. Um, and I will, one thing that I do like doing is when I'm doing books, I like having like junk journals and things like that. I will work with AI to develop an image that I can then do like an acetone transfer onto paper and then go over it with pencil and pen. And sometimes I'll do that, and that's kind of a fun thing. And then again, I'll work with AI to help me design something, but when it comes down to actually making it, it's because, like I said, because it just uh, casts a really wide net and can't discern. If you use it for whatever specialized art you're in, you really got to be careful and help it to learn properly. It
Mhm.
just so it takes some time.
Okay.
But with writing, I've yeah, I mentioned a couple of times that I kind of created a database of my own writing, and so AI will help generate stuff that is every bit as sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek, snot-nosed, um, cynical as I am.
Very cool.
That's really fun. It's fun to see that it can have the same kind of sarcasm that I do.
That's awesome.
All right, well that's what people have turned in so far. There was one where somebody actually did a uh, colored pencil rendering themselves, and that doesn't count for the assignment because it's not AI generated. But I showed you everything that was AI generated, and I think they turned out really, really well. So very nice. Okay, I wanted to this. We are pretty much over with everything that I absolutely had to share today, but there's a couple of things that I wanted to go over just to remind people about. One is the final. If you haven't done the final yet, take the final. Oh, Susan and David both said it didn't hurt nearly as much as they were looking forward to, and it's relatively easy. Even if you don't have all the assignments done, do the final now. And I've had some people ask me about turning in stuff. It's going to be easiest to turn everything in by Friday midnight. You could submit quizzes and um, discussions by Friday midnight. After that, you can't anymore because Canvas will shut you out. If you need a couple more days than that to submit or resubmit assignments, you can email files directly to me, but do not email anything you're turning in before Friday at midnight because to protect you, it needs to be submitted in Canvas. We have a couple people who have submitted and resubmitted things that if you on Canvas, if you submit multiple files, but you don't do it at the same time, Canvas will overwrite every previous submission. So it erases everything. And for these assignments until Friday, you can't turn it in via email. You have to turn it in through Canvas until Friday at midnight. So if you're having a hard time and it's not working, um, talk to tech support and see what can happen. But I think the easiest way to resolve that is to take all your images, uh, insert them into like a Word doc or a PDF so that it's all in one file, and then submit that one file. And that's the easiest way to do it and to get everything done. Most of the people that I've said, hey, there's an issue with this, it's not right, or your three references at the end of your paper aren't in alphabetical order or whatever, most people have been able to get that fixed and returned in within an hour or two. And that is great. Right as of this moment, um, actually not right, people have been turning in stuff while we've been talking. But as of an hour before this, everything that was turned in has been graded. So if you see anything that doesn't have a grade that you want, look at the notes that I've said and resubmit it. Have Nicole, Susan, or David, have any of you guys resubmitted stuff that I made notes on?
Yes, I have.
All right. And did it help you to get a better grade?
Yes.
All right. Excellent. I think the record for resubmissions is last year in one of my sculpture classes, somebody resubmitted something 6 times. So a total of 7 submissions, and they ended up finally getting an A. And then about a year ago, in one of these classes, somebody was doing a project and ended up resubmitting it about 7 or 8 times, and they ended up getting an A as well. So I don't mind regrading as long as you follow the directions and resubmit. When people just resubmit the same file over and over again, that gets tiresome. The other thing that I've noticed is a couple people have submitted the wrong files to the assignments, like submitting a studio assignment for a reflection or the other way around. And I'll make a note and say, just let me know when you resubmit. Just double check the file before you send it and then resubmit, and we'll get it taken care of. All right?
You got it, sir.
Okay, that's all that I have to share. Do you guys have any questions or anything?
No.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this journey this semester. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think one thing that it really impresses me is as you folks are writing your final and turning that in, I am really impressed with just the growth that's taking place and people being able to articulate what they see when they look at art. Um, it is really, I think starting in about 1860, galleries tried it very hard to make sure that regular people were intimidated when they came to art. And that's why art historians use different words. That's why they try to make you feel dumb when you go into galleries. But you guys now have the vocabulary and the weapons to deal with that. Um, and I and sometimes, art is still going to be dumb when you look at it. You're not going to like it. That's fine. That is totally fine. But at least now you have the vocabulary to defend when you tell somebody that their art is stupid. I,
100%.
I I try to mitigate that. I am trying to be funny a little bit, but I have made students of mine cry because I articulated exactly why their stuff was bad. Um, and it actually comes down to most of the time when stuff is bad, it's because the person who's doing it did not try at all. They just slapped something together and did a horrible job. And you can tell. And when you guys are able to articulate what you see and describe and really be precise with your language, then it's obvious when somebody isn't trying. And I think that's a really valuable tool to have. And in that last question on the final, what principle will you take with you? I'm really enjoying reading those because people are talking about what comes down to actual honest application of critical thinking. I think I told you a couple months ago that like 56%, some 54 or 56% of graduating seniors think they are critical thinkers. I mean, I'm sorry, 96% think they're critical thinkers, and 54% of employers say that they're not. So, uh, double the people think they're critical thinkers than they actually are. And you guys have the skills to actually do that. So that's very cool. Yeah, if you need any help, reach out to me, let me know. But it's exciting to see as we wind up the semester what you guys are doing. So thank you very much for being with me on this.
Thank you very much for teaching us so much, sir. I really appreciate it. This class was really awakening to me as I described in my final. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Hey,
Thanks.
you are absolutely
I,
welcome. Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed it too. So, and I've got stuff I need to submit, so I'm working on that.
All right, great. I'll look forward to it. Thank you, folks, and we'll see
Thanks,
you
sir.
all
Bye. Of
somewhere on
Thank
campus.
you.
course.
All right, we'll see you,
Thanks.
Nicole.
Bye.